Well, folks, welcome to another Shop Talk, and we are out in Odessa, and one of the fine things about coming out on this trip is I got to stop at Bates Barbecue, Bates City Barbecue, and I'd forgotten how good that was, but at the moment we are here with Jim Moody, and we're going to talk a little bit about Jim's career and also some stuff about racing. But Jim, I guess pretty much you got your start several years ago. Your dad raced, and then I'm sure you had the opportunity to probably get in the car and mess around, and you got the bug.
Got to work on it a lot. He raced way back in the early 80s, and then we got back into it in the mid 90s. And then he let me race a mechanics race, and that's all it took.
That was it.
That was it.
That was it.
Got to race it once, and that was it was downhill from there.
Did you ever beat him?
Yeah, there at the end I was. You know, at the start I wasn't, but we raced a couple years together, and we were pretty close, really. And then he kind of quit and just helped me from then on out, so it was pretty good. So.
Okay. Just your fifth race out down at Adrian.
Yep.
By golly, you win the A main. Fifth race out. Man, that had to have
That was good. It was. We ran really good. The second night at Sedalia, we ran. We were running second and was passed for the lead and broke the rear end gear with a few laps to go, and that was the second night out. So we had a pretty good run going there at start. We practiced a lot though. We did hit a lot of practice when I first started, and that helped quite a bit.
So you had that opportunity though to be around it, and I'm sure your dad was, well, maybe you need to do this.
Right. Car setup. I mean, you know, just we were close with the car to start with, and just kind of been around it for several years, and that helps. I mean, you got to have that. I mean, if a guy's starting out that's never been around it, you're going to struggle a little bit. I mean, you know, still struggle, but I mean, it definitely helped. Yeah,
without a doubt. 2001, you get the opportunity. Of course, I think in this time frame that we're talking about, you were running what if I remember right, you told me you were running IMCA legal. Stuff in the car anyway, so you did go to the Super Nationals in 2001, and how did that go?
That went. It was a great experience. I mean, a lot of cars. I think that year there was like 450 cars. I mean, 460 cars, something like that. We had a great time. We ran good. We didn't draw good.
Yeah.
It was neat, just experience, you know, all the people and all the good cars, a lot of good cars, and you know, the race didn't pay anything, but it's just saying we got to go and race that deal. That was it was a good time. We had a really good time up there. I mean, it was a rainy season. We got rained out a night or two, but it was still a really good. We had a good time up there.
I was going to say, for this part of the country and being a modified driver your whole career, that is probably one of the most prestigious races that you can win in this area, is to go up there. And as we talked a little bit about it, and I think you'll agree that, boy, the luck of the draw is a big deal up there.
That's all it is. I mean, we drew fifth or sixth row every night, and you just can't. There's too many good cars in there. You've got to draw up front, and you've got to go and get in. I mean, it's just a tough deal. But you know, it just there's a lot of luck in that involved. I mean, you have to run good, but there's so much luck involved in that race. You know, it's just. We just didn't have very good luck as far as draw-wise.
I hear you. 2004, you sell all the modified stuff, and you buy a car from Jason Bodenhammer and decide to go late model racing. And you're racing at Sedalia and pretty much MLRA, and you were saying Sedalia is one of your favorite tracks, but why did you make the switch, and how did you like it?
You know, we did the switch just to try something a little different. You know, we've been racing modifieds for about 5 years or so there, and we had the opportunity to get his car. It was a good deal, and we had our stuff sold, and so we decided to try it, test the waters. It was fun. We had a good time with it. You know, it's a big difference. I mean, the cars are a lot different. Motors are a lot more money, and we only had one, and but we ran good with it. I mean, we were competitive with it, you know, right out of the get-go, and it was fun. I mean, there's a little difference in them, not a lot. I mean, it's you know, more suspension, tire, and power. I mean, is a big difference, but anymore, I mean, they're pretty close now. So
I know this year you're setting out, or have been for a couple of weeks, on account of a motor problem, and I have the opportunity to get around a lot, and boy, I'll tell you what, I think this has been the year of the blown motor.
It's tough.
If there is such a thing. And I want to ask you this question, kind of get off your career a little bit and talk a little bit more about modified racing. Is there a possibility that the modifieds right now are, want to say, getting too hooked up to the tracks, and as a result, it's causing too much stress or whatever on the motors for what the guys are running for motors right now?
It is. The cars are so hooked up now that you have got to have a good motor. I mean, a really good motor, because if there's any kind of moisture in the racetrack, it is really hooked up. I mean, like a late model, and it is hard on parts. I mean, everyone's turning their motors. You know, they're turning them 8,000 to 9,000 RPM, and if you don't have good equipment, it's just it's getting tough. And if you don't turn that kind of RPM, you're not going to be running up front, and there's no sense to do it if you're not going to run up front. But it's really getting it is. I mean, it's hard on parts. I mean, what people are doing, I think, is what's happening is you run your parts longer than you need to. I mean, you know, I'm thinking, you know, 2 years on your rotating parts, and it's time to go new again. I mean, that's how hooked up the cars are. So it's you know, you learn the hard way sometimes doing that, but it's expensive. I mean, you gotta. And if you don't spend the money to do it, you're not going to run up front. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, and you know, for me as a fan, actually, is what I am. It's a continual learning process about this racing deal. And I know you mentioned on the phone the other night that nobody runs a stock block anymore. Mm-hmm. They're all Dart?
They're all Dart or World product. I mean, just an aftermarket block. I mean, when we were running stock blocks there at the end, we were pulling the webbing out of the cylinder walls just because it's pulling on the lower end so hard. It was trying to pull the block apart, and you just and by the time you spend the money to do it right, to do the block, you're really close. You know, you're $500-600 away from doing an aftermarket block, so you're just better off to go with them now. So.
Just do it, get it over with.
Right.
Points racing is not high on your priority.
Not really.
And can you explain to me a little bit about why? Points
racing to me is, for one, it's a big commitment. I mean, you're at the same racetrack every week, you know, every night. In my opinion, they don't pay enough for your commitment to be there weekly. Mm-hmm. And it's nice to run different racetracks. I mean, you get burnt out running the same racetracks. You don't learn a lot more racing the same places every week. And to me, you know, it commits you to race there all the time. When it'd be nice if, okay, this race comes up, or you want to take a week off or whatever, you can do it, and it's not a problem. So you know, I just never have really ran points. You know, I just haven't done. You know, you chase money races or whatever you do. I mean, it's just not really for me, I guess. I mean, you know,
not your thing.
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably good for your resume, and I probably should have done it, but I mean, just never have. I mean, we kind of did it. We kind of started out sometimes chasing them, maybe trying to, and then you have bad luck, and you're out of it. So then there's no sense to keep going. You might as well just go run other places. So,
I guess we could call you the Missouri State champion. Since you've won the fair race 3 years. Now, was that 3 years in a row or just 3 years?
Yeah, and we've in a row, so we've been going pretty good down there at the fair race. So we had some good luck there in the middle. Dustin Boney was leading, and he had a little bit of motor trouble, and so that helped us out. But last year we dominated them. Last year we were good, and hopefully we can do it again this year. Barn, we have a motor.
I was going to say, you got some horsepower.
Right. No, it's been really good. I mean, it's a great racetrack, and it's a great event. I mean, so it's been good.
I think we are just about out of time, and I know you've got some people that you want to mention that help you race each week.
Definitely. I want to thank my dad, Precision Pipe. That's his company. Helps me out by far. I couldn't do it without him. Clemens Home Team. They're on Reese and Nichols. Plaza Mortgage is on this year. They're helping me out. Crosslink Powder Coating. They do my powder coat work for me. Signs by Wild Bill. He does all my body and lettering. That's about it. They have a lot of help. Couldn't do it without them for sure. So.
Okie-doke. Well, folks, one of the guys you want to watch for this 00, Jim Moody. Thanks a lot, Jim.
Thank you.